Hi, welcome back to the Dylan Rounds case. Welcome if you're currently here in the live chat. Today, we're going to be doing a summary and talking about what Doug from No Thanks has had to say recently about Jim Terry and all this new information and waves of it coming on in from like what we've heard of, ranging from the flyby, the plane scanning Candice Cooley's house, Dylan getting arrested or receiving some ticket. We get into that and we just look at Doug's side of the story from what he supposedly knows. As well, I'll probably bring it up first, we're going to be talking about the latest within the Dylan Rounds case, such as recent actions by people, okay, and explorations that have taken place. We're also going to be doing a map analysis, once again, of Oakley, Idaho, where Don Hatley is supposedly living in. I forgot to take a look at two key locations, the motels and trailer parks within the area. It makes sense to take a look at those sort of places because that's maybe where Don's at, right? There's no harm. Don's left his trailer behind in Lucerne, then what's he using right now? Has he got a new one or is he living in a different type of accommodation? Who knows, but we'll definitely look into that. And as well, even taking a look at the Dylan Rounds forum, once again, check the next page out, see what information we can find. If anything has been forgotten or if it fills in any blank spots, we can, take a look and try and understand it. As you know, slip these like forum discussions and chats into the case once in a while here and there, not going too heavy or too deep because normally 1 to 2 pages is more than enough for a singular video, okay? As we do go along in the chat, feel free to share your thoughts, opinions and reactions to all of this, and you can talk about other things as well. Also, shout out to Nella Bella for the super chat recently, which is possible to do outside of a live stream or a live video premiere, because you can click on any video on YouTube and you still have the super thanks button down below. So it's good how it works, first of all, but it's also appreciated what Nell has done. And she has been around for a while now with in the Dylan Rounds case, okay? As well, if you haven't checked out my previous video, make sure to do that. There'll be a link down below in the pinned comment section, okay? So, I think, first of all, why not do some kind of calendar? What calendar? A calendar of me? No. That doesn't sound too right, that does it? Number 7. Now, there are pain these, because when you're trying to look at the numbers, it's like, well, where are they? Sometimes it takes forever. There you go. It's that one there. Bear in mind, it's back to front. So this one's on Santa's face, so I don't know how I'm going to be able to open this without breaking the calendar. Get it back in. There you go. Are you ready? Are you ready? What's going to be behind it? Rip it open. I see. Foil. Have to claw at it. A time like this, Maria is desperately needed. Maria, can you help and assist? Tear away this foil with your nails, please. Just pop it out the hole. Get on out, boy. There we go. Oh shit, I've just lost some stuff. There you go. So we've got a star this time. We've got a shining star in the sky, just like you. So I'm not going to hold it too long because I do not want it to melt and I do not want brown stuff on my hands. So I'll put it to one side. Oh wait, so in the chat, I'll give it to you in the chat. There you go. Open your mouth. Is your mouth open? Good. It's coming in. Come on. Take a nibble at it. Nibble? Nibble? Does it taste good? Do you like it? You want the whole thing in your mouth? Okay. Whoa. Well done. Congratulations. Now, we don't just stop there. I mean, how many people have done like some kind of calendar opening in a video? I don't know. There you go, we've got another one. Why? Because I'm a greedy bastard, I guess. Where's number 6 at? Number 7. I can't even count. Number 7 down here. Let me just make sure I've opened the preview. Yeah, there we go. Number 7 here, it's better, the standards, the door is fucking hard to open. I've accidentally broke it, but then again, let's be realistic. It's not the first time I have broken a door. Yeah. I was trying to wink them, but I ended up looking like I had a seizure or I was having a spasm. Make sure not to do that next time because I'll probably get weird looks. Oh my god, why are you so hard to get out? Oh no, I've lost it. Where's it gone? Oh, it nearly fell under the bed, right? There you go. We got a bueno, which means good in Spanish. Bueno. Right. I think it's time we take a look at Dylan Rounds and start talking about it right now. Are you ready? So as for recent stuff, notice Scott Natal has returned back with 2 new videos exploring places within Motel, Nevada, Bald Eagle Mountain Range. Make sure to check out his videos if you haven't already. 2 new ones. One's some pre-video before going into that deep vertical mine, I believe, from the previous video before that. Most interesting thing about this recent video, one of them at least, they're actually exploring at the mine, which when you look back the other way, looking down at the valley, further on down is where Brenner's burnt down trailer is at. You remember? We've, referred back to it in my videos on the map several times now, where I kept saying this is the one mine that stands out because it's visually a mine and you can see all of it. And then lower down, further down that way is Brenner's trailer. So it's good to get close to those areas, right? Key locations, ones you can remember and tick off from if you've seen it on the maps. That's all good. And I guess the other positive is the likes of Les Natal, who was crediting Lance in the video, saying, Lance went that way, he went down that tunnel, has he been this way there, or he's done well. So the positive is they're crediting Lance, they're not ignoring him and his contribution, kind of like what Candice Cooley has done in the past, completely ignoring Lance and I guess Ty as well. And as well, just being aware, being honest, being alert that yes, we are returning back, we are aware, right? It's not like some kind of wild goose chase of going back to these places unaware if they've been searched or not, right? They know what they're doing. And of course, because Ty Corbin is there as well, and he's, been with Lance in the past, it makes sense. The idea of checking twice just to make sure, because you never know. There's no harm in doing that. I guess if you went a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th time, it could be seen as impractical. But realistically, at the end of the day, really the only criticism that can come out of it, what they're doing by other people, is it's not helpful, it's not really going anywhere. But the counterpoint I put across is it really causing any harm? No. If it was done in such a way that they kept returning back to locations they've already looked at, but they changed the titles each time and made it seem like it was brand new, then maybe you could say it's problematic. But it doesn't seem like they're doing that at this moment in time, so that's good, right? That's just one thing I just wanted to highlight. Anything else? I mean, yeah, that's it. If you remember, I think it was the last video, live premiere I did, you had Mr. X dropping by on my channel, and he was asking the question regarding the fake accounts of me, etc. And as you know, last time we saw as a live exhibition, there was a fake account of me. Now, one thing I will say is credit to them in such a way that they actually, showed themselves on my video, in which I was able to go on their, profile and then, share the link so then people could see an example of a fake account of me. It's like a demonstration. Take that into mind, right? You look back all the other times when a fake account has showed up of me, it's always been on other people's channels. So everyone and anyone who knows me will see that fake account, but they can't access it or view the page because in other chats, you don't have the drop-down box to view the profile, right? That's just how it is. I mean, good example would be when the fake Weedleby account showed up in the past on my channel and the real Weedleby was present. Could anyone view the real Weedleby's account in that chat or even the fake one? No, only I could. That's just how it is with YouTube. It's weird. Like if you yourself do a live stream or a live video premiere right now, you will be able to have the option to view every person's profile, right? Now, the only other way around it, you could argue, is you just copy and paste the username from that chat, paste it in the YouTube search section, select channels only, and then it'll come up with all the channels with that name. Though it doesn't always work, because sometimes when you get people that leave comments in live streams, live video premieres, their name does not come up as a channel on YouTube, like it doesn't exist. It's as if they've got a different username for their YouTube channel, and then they're also using an alternative name specifically for that chat in a live stream. Kind of weird, right? Don't quite understand that, but there you go. And linking it back to Mr. X, I wasn't sure if he saw my reply back regarding where I'm at when it comes to other people's live videos, right? Because he said they've been dealing with fake stuff, so it's hard to tell what's what. But I did leave a comment on one of Jim Terry's recent videos, just simply saying, like how I said to you, that I just don't, participate in live streams of other people's videos. At most, I might leave the odd comment in the comment section in which you can clearly view my profile, so you'll know it's me. And then, yeah, Mr. X acknowledged that, and that's all sorted now, right? That's all it takes. Not much, okay? So, I think what we should do is just move on to what Doug has had to say recently, okay? The video was like nearly 3 hours long. It's quite some time just to be sat there listening to it. I think I only sat there for like an hour and a bit, maybe. It got boring. In terms of that video, it was just like just a constant script talking about Jim Terry in a negative way. That's all it was about, right? It wasn't an interview with someone. They seem to follow a better structure, right? It's more formal. I can understand why, if it's with Candice Cooley. Hopefully that chocolate doesn't melt on the side. That'd be very unfortunate. So this one I only watched so much. I mean, you look at Indiana, she watched a 6-hour video. 6 hours, that's pretty rough, right? I mean, it depends what you're doing at the time. If you're doing some activity, some chore, whatever it may be, whilst listening to it, just auditory in your ear, maybe time can go by quicker. But if you actually sat down, looking at the screen and listening in, that can drag out, right? Unless it's very engaging and important, that's all I could say. So I just tried summarising it as best as I could, okay? So the first point made by Doug, and this, take in mind, I'll just mention it quickly. People may be watching right now, people may join later or at the wrong time, misinterpret something, misunderstand something. People that are present right now, feel free to acknowledge those lost souls later on in this video so people know where we're at, okay? Good. As for people coming on over, right? At times, but at times you will get certain waves of people coming on into my chat who you've never seen before. Sometimes it's some of Salty Pancake's followers. Other times it's Mr. X, Jim Terry's followers. Most of them that have come on over haven't caused me trouble. They might have had squabbles and arguments with some of my viewers here and there. Right, there you go, it's just one of those things. I've not really had any negative run-ins with Jim Terry, okay, or Mr. X. No real issues. It was just like one time when Jim Terry kind of got his pants in a twist where he thought I didn't credit him on a certain point observation, but I clearly did, and he did apologise afterwards, right? He was apologising in capital letters, so I don't know why. I mean, it was more to do with an announcement, really. That's the only thing he's done in my videos, where he's just said, oh, the video's coming shortly, live stream, head on over to here. I mean, it's just one of those typical forms of advertisement, not the end of the world, right? One of those things where people do genuinely want to transition on over to another live video. If it's present, then, you know, they're not forced to stay in that way. So it's up to people. One thing I will mention quickly, because the difference with my channel compared to Jim Terry's is there are no mods. So maybe that's why it explains certain like Pancake followers, Jim Terry followers coming on in and then maybe some trouble starting. It's because if you start putting people as a mod, first of all, it just becomes yet another responsibility, another job, another chore. And if people are already busy, do they want to have that responsibility added on to them in addition? Isn't the whole point of coming along to watch a video or a live video to just sit back, relax and take it in and maybe have some fun? But if you start being a mod, then you start not focusing, you're not focusing on the video, you're too focused on the chat and waiting for a bad comment to show up or a fake account, and then you block and then repeat and then repeat. And then by then you've already missed out on what the conversation was all about in the video. So it just is unnecessary, right? I mean, if you had thousands upon thousands of people watching, then maybe you need some kind of crowd control, I get it, but it's not to that extent at this moment in time. So people can just relax instead of having to be on a high alert level. And any other reasons? Not really. I mean, you start well, I guess that's the thing, like I know Jim Terry said like how he had some mods came on, became power hungry, and then it caused disruption. That could happen on mine. So let's just keep it all balanced and at a low level and just see how it goes, okay? So since that's now out the way and everything's brushed aside, the first point made by Doug from No Thanks in his recent live video is calling Jim Terry a creepy guy, fake, and seems to be pushing a gay agenda, right? That's kind of like a summary to start off with. The reason why Doug was calling Jim Terry creepy is because of some of the antics and actions he's supposedly got up to with people or in certain situations. Something to do with touching or slapping someone's bottom. I don't know where that came from. I don't know how he knows, unless it's happened to him as well. I don't know. Like a fake persona, I think, at times, where on stream he might appear a certain way, but then on the phone he sounds different or uses different wording. That's what Doug said. I guess it's because Doug has been on like a call or something with Jim Terry in the past. I'm sure there was like a period, a stage of drama where it was all these phone calls being leaked and exposed, and it's like, you know, when it gets to that level, it's like if someone came up and said, oh, do you want to do an interview, do you want to do a live stream, do you want to call me? It's like, at this rate, the way everyone or most people are acting, I don't think it's a good idea, you know? Too risky, not worth it, going through all that. As for the gay agenda part, that's more to do with Doug highlighting Jim, constantly pushing that Dylan is gay, he's this, he's that, and that person's interested in Dylan, and family have reacted badly to Dylan being like that, so that's why he's out there alone in the desert, and then he was killed by them. That's kind of like what Doug was saying in his own words, roughly speaking, okay? The next point made by Doug was grasping at straws, lies being made, such as the plane flying on over, right? That's just from Doug's point of view. If you have information yourself that may support a certain person's ideas regarding these new pieces of information in recent time, feel free to leave it down below, or your own thoughts, right? It could help. Grasping at straws, all these different YouTubers, content creators, right? That's what Doug was saying. Now, with Doug, and like with other YouTubers, sometimes they word it very vaguely. They'll say he, she, or they, without dropping direct names at times, right? You've got to be on the lookout for that, okay, so you know who they're actually referring to, right? I don't think Doug would ever brought the... Well, Doug never mentioned the Shack lady's name, but it could have been interpreted or involved in some way with the other creators like Pancakes, Jim Terry, Ty Corbin, how Doug was like rounded them all in and associated them with one another, right? How to bounce off one of each other at times, maybe. But the Shack lady did respond back in one of my recent videos, almost like confirming that her information, her findings have got nothing to do with suspicion on the Rounds Cooley family. And that's okay, I guess. But that video I did, it wasn't talking about the Shack lady. Unless it was the part where I was telling her about my live video premiere format. Could have been that, but I don't know if she was referring to the summary information passed on from Indiana, maybe, but that still didn't mention the Shack lady's name, right? It was talking about how the family could be involved in some way, or the mother's suspicious, but unless the Shack lady was involved or invited or was watching Salty Pancake's stream at the time, bear in mind I don't watch everything, but I'm aware that some people do call in or are invited on a show, a panel, so maybe that could be the case. Speaking of panels, it looks like there's been more things escalating with time. You know, like with Salty Pancakes, he had his crew, he had his panel in the past. One of the persons called Cut and Shoot. For some reason, when I heard that username in the past, I thought Cut and Shoot was some kind of hairdresser. Just like how I thought Jim Terry, his name at the start, I thought he was a car salesman, but I eventually found out that they weren't that. So it was Cut and Shoot, it was Ranger, and it was Pancakes, and with time, it's kind of crumbled, gone separate ways, right? In recent time, we got new people on the panel on Pancakes, like Brookie and some other people. I can't remember all their names, I'll be honest with you. Ranger supposedly transitioned on over to Jim Terry's channel at some point, I think. Not seen or heard from him since. I think he might have uploaded the odd video onto his channel, but not really seen him anywhere else. Might have made an appearance on the Shack Lady stream in the past, but not recently. Cut and Shoot, not heard or seen them for some time now. And on Pancake's channel, I think they were doing like a live video at some point exposing her or trying to reveal the truth about her, whatever that may be. You see, there's one event after another, right? You know, if you look back at a live stream of it still around where maybe certain people were getting together and holding hands, and then you compared that to now, it's like, oh. But literally, it was more, you compare it to then and then compare it to the 2 days later, and it unraveled on itself, right? It's a bit weird, right? A bit messy. But Yeah, it just reminded me of that when talking about the whole panel situation and the shack lady, right? But as for grasping straws, the lies made supposedly by different content creators, Doug mainly aiming it towards Jim Terry, you know, do you think that, right? I mean, people might have information, people might put it behind a paywall, people might have some material, but it's not released publicly. You know, for those who are in the dark, you're just guessing, questioning, and maybe doubting, right? I do a poll right now. Do you feel that the recent information or the recent talk of stuff is just basically people grasping at straws desperately, lies? Or do you think it's genuine? Is it real information? And I'll even add an extra option where it might be some of it is true, but not all of it. Feel free to vote right now and leave your thoughts, okay? As for one of the examples of I've mentioned it or not, Doug brought up the plane, the LiDAR, the plane flying on over 40 to 50 weeks ago over Candice Cooley's house. Doug saying that it never happened. And you could be like, well, how would Doug know? I mean, he didn't talk about it too much, but I think really an example you could give is, well, Candice Cooley is in contact with Doug. So if Candice Cooley was present at her home at the time and never reported seeing any planes flying on over, then I guess it means they didn't fly on over. Maybe. So she passed that on to Doug, and then Doug, received it firsthand from a witness if they saw it or not, which they didn't. But you could just put a counterpoint in and say, yeah, but is Candice Cooley in the house 24/7? No, she'll be doing other things. So maybe the plane flew by when she wasn't present. Or maybe she was inside, but not looking out of the window, so you wouldn't know if a plane's flying by or not. Or if you did hear a plane flying by, you might just assume it's any other plane flying in the area. So you probably wouldn't truly know, right? Because things can just pass by and you just don't pay attention. So I guess it's one of those things, right? So really, to get a true answer, you'd have to reach out to someone that was piloting the plane at the time, who was able to do something like that, then maybe. As for Ivor Zadovsky, who's got that plane hangar loose in airport, who also has a plane himself, I'll bring it up again. Has there been any updates or any additional interviews with him? Has anyone reached out to him? Yes, no? If Jim Terry, if Mr. X is watching right now, or if you're a follower of Mr. X, Jim Terry, the question I put to you is, have you tried interviewing Ivor Zadovsky? Do you think it's worth doing, or is it a waste of time? Because if you've looked at Chase Venstra and interviewed him in some way, then maybe try Ivor Zadovsky, see what he's got to say, or with him having resources where he's at and what he has, maybe it's worth doing so. Just a thought, okay? The next point made by Doug is the money that's buried. Some kind of treasure hunt. 1 minute it's a low amount, 40k, then it's 80k. I mean, Doug said it just doesn't exist. It's not out there. That's his opinion, I guess. What I would say is, if money was buried out there, it's by Dylan. Dylan put it out there. I mean, I'm trying to remember that extract by Indiana, what she said, right? That something to do with either hiding it from the mother or taking it from the mother and trying to bury it and trying to maybe double cross her in some way. I can't quite remember. But if the money is buried in the ground, I assume that's to hide it from people. At what point would it have been dug up by Dylan? That's the question. At what point? Was he just storing it there for so long? And if it is buried, how exactly was it buried? Was it wrapped up? Was it put into a safe and then locked? Is it put in some kind of box and then buried? I don't exactly know, right? With it being money, can you scan for it? Probably not, unless it was within some kind of box, like a metal one, and using a metal detector. That could possibly work. But, you know, because it being so vast and wide, the land, not really seen it. No one's found anything, so it's probably not there. Just like my opinion. You can leave your thoughts down below. Should I do another poll? Is it too soon? I'll do a poll anyway. Do you think that money is buried on the land somewhere? Yes, no, maybe. I mean, if it was, has there been a massive surge in people going there and exploring? Not really. There's not a constant flow of people within the area, so it can't be that important, right? We just put that one aside, we move on to the next point. Bear in mind, there might be kind of weak, these like key points, but really, this is really the most you could get from Doug's video, because most of it was just insulting Jim Terry and calling him out and recalling past stories or something and then repeating themselves over and over again. So that's why it's fairly short, this list, okay? Doug brought up about the embezzlement and debt. Now, I don't know if this is all to do with that original talk in the past where Candice Cooley supposedly stole lots of money off a business of someone's, or if it's happened multiple times. But basically, Doug was saying that it wasn't Candice Cooley responsible. It was her ex that embezzled money or was in debt and served like jail for 10 days. That's what he said in the live stream. I assume that what Doug did was call Candice Cooley and ask her about it, and then she said how it is. I mean, is it one of those things where when Candice Cooley speaks, you listen and everything she says is correct and the truth? Not exactly. You don't want to fall down that path, that hole. No. The next point mentioned was talking about the trend of the vigilante group, which was the discussion previously highlighted by different people, YouTubers. Was it true? Was it false? A load of BS, as described by Doug. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if there was some kind of group out there. Vigilante group, militia, neighborhood watch, possibly. Simply people looking out for the community, but maybe a little bit more strict, a little bit more observant than other people, possibly. They've got guns, right? So they could be patrolling or they could use it in some way. I mean, you get communities in Africa or in maybe the Middle East or some places like that where it's a bit rough and rugged, and a person steals a vegetable, steals a carrot, and then they get the fingers chopped off, or they end up cheating on someone and then they're rounded up in the street, beaten, tires wrapped around them, and then they're set on fire and just stand there and burn as their flesh peels off and then they turn black, and that's it. So you got different levels of extremity, right? People, what do you call it? Mob justice, mob mentality. I can't remember what you call it, where people take matters into their own hands. Maybe that can happen. But what you got to realise is if in Motel you've got dodgy people doing dodgy stuff to younger people, and some have been arrested previously, well, this supposed vigilante group either doesn't exist because they're not, getting justice, or maybe they do exist and they're a part of that dodgy activity, hence why they're not punishing their own members. So it goes one way or another, right? And I said, the odd person has recounted stories from people they know of who've been out there, passed through the area, came across a group of guys with guns in a truck, almost like a group, almost like some kind of militia. So you just have to try and hear it from people's witnesses. If people have visited the area. I mean, when we looked at Google Maps and we looked at the reviews of Montello, some people left some negative response saying, oh, the store's closed, there's only one toilet, you got to pay for it, it's a little bit dirty, some of the locals aren't that pleasant or nice. But then the majority of others were saying it's a good place with good people, there's no issues. A little bit mixed, but more positive, moreover, okay? And no one mentioned anything in the review section about vigilante groups or like a strong presence atmosphere that you're being watched or, you know, spied on. So unless it's because people were there at the right place, right time, that's another possibility I can think of. But this thing, if you've got your own experiences, okay, your own stories about Montello, whether it be something you witnessed or someone you know that has witnessed things in Montello, feel free to share it down below if you want to, if you can, and we just take it from there and see, right? Because although the Dylan Rounds case missing person is ongoing, there's still a backstory that could follow in and lead on to something, right? Now, let's move on to the next point made about Doug. Doug's calling certain community people out within the Dylan Rounds case. Doug saying how people within the community, some of them tried convincing Doug that Candice Cooley is a bad person and that she's done bad things and that she and maybe Justin is responsible for taking out Dylan and killing him. That line was used over and over again in Doug's video. Now, who's convinced Doug that Candice Cooley is a bad person? Has this got all the links to do with Doug doing that song or something about Dylan in a negative way because people convinced Doug to be that way and to create that? Or is that just shifting the blame for one's own actions and making up excuses? No, I don't exactly know what order it followed in, but the moment I came into the case, when I came in, which was 1 month late when Dylan went missing, from certain people, there was a strong ideas and thoughts by others that Candice Cooley is bad and she is responsible. I heard it, I listened to it, but they did not brainwash me, right? I was thinking, could be a bit dodgy, yeah, but I didn't go all in. Maybe that's what Doug did when people told him about Candice Cooley. I don't know if it's Doug trying to shift the blame, put it on other people, or if it's like a true thing. I'm just relaying what's said in that video, okay, and you can give your own thoughts down below. Because I know some people said they supposedly witnessed and saw Doug talk about Dylan and the case and certain people in a negative way. But then in Doug's video, Doug was highlighting that people like Jim Terry was calling Dylan out in a negative way and some other people were. So it's just like back forth, right? Is there anything I need to bring in now? I guess I could do. I guess when it comes to the community, there's a lot of characters, and I say characters because if you say there's a lot of people, then that's too vague, and then that can apply to just people that watch the videos as well. Characters, it's more specific in terms of people with certain types of personalities, behavioural patterns and actions, right? You got some people that are very observant, tries to process all the information. You got some, or the odd person that's got a lot of stamina to be able to cover the case and talk about it for long periods in a live stream format. You've got some characters that are relentless in searching for Dylan boots on ground, doing it almost every day or doing it as much as they can, despite not finding him or despite what other people say. And then you got other characters where it's the backstabbing, 1 minute they like each other, next minute they don't, but then they're best friends again. And it's so back forth, just like with the information, that you can't take it serious, right? Just can't take it serious. I mean, what's an example? Like I was referring to with Kurt Wadsworth. Now, when it comes to Ellenberg, I think it might have been briefly touched upon that Ellenberg didn't get on well with Kurt Wadsworth previously. But the next thing you know, in Jim Terry's live stream call-in with Ellenberg and Kurt Wadsworth in the dark, pissed, in the bar, which is closed, and then they're just laughing and talking, obviously not quite there with it because they're drunk, and it's like, oh, I didn't think you got on well with each other, but now you are. That switching and changing, you just can't take it too serious, right? It's like as silly as the reality of if you're walking down a street, going down a dark alleyway, suddenly you get raped, and then once it's been done, you turn around, shake hands, and then go for a drink and pretend nothing happened, and you're all best friends, and it's like, what? That's not normal, you know? No, it shouldn't work like that. But I guess within this community, wacky things like that, I guess, can come true, like the backstabbing theory, right? Have I experienced it myself firsthand? No, I haven't. Most people have been good, right? Obviously, anything can happen. You know, you don't completely dismiss that, but you compare it to the Kenny Veach case on a personal scale. There's not been as many backstabbers, right? Within the Kenny Veach case, you had the odd few emotional people that got like hyperventilated, taking things out of context, taking matters in an unrealistic way, reacting too quickly, reacting abruptly, melting down. It's like, fucking hell, just fucking breathe. Christ's sake, you know? Within the Dylan Rounds case, maybe that stuff still happens, but it's externally on other channels. I have witnessed hypocritical behaviour, that's about it. It's not the end of the world where someone will say this or do this towards me, but then they're completely different elsewhere, and it's like, what? The level of someone maybe criticising a person, but then bending over backwards and saying, thank you for being here, thank you, it's good of you, yeah. No. And, you know, as I've worded things clearly with my specific language, you know, you can follow a certain order and pattern within that where it is to do with balance, where you will say, thanks for leaving a comment, or thanks for re-clarifying this, or thanks for just being present to watch this video so you can, you know, respond back. But at the same time, I am taking in mind that you could be a dodgy person regardless on top of someone else. That's the level of balance, right? It's, yes, it's good you're here, but I'm still wary of you. And that's it. It's straight to the point, right? No messing around. No, you're great, you're a really good person. And then secretly, no, that person's bad, yeah, they're not good. Oh, thank you for being here. Sorry, yeah, thank you. You know, a little bend over backwards, dodgy stuff. No. Not like that. So, yeah, which point do we move on to now? I mean, just referring back to Kurt Wadsworth, like I said, I can't take certain things serious. If things are talked about, bits of information is shared from like Kurt Wadsworth, how he's acted, you see his body language, right? I've not looked at it much, but when looking at his body language, right, I think he's missing some teeth, but, you know, you can still understand what he says, which is good. But I don't think I've seen him without being drunk. He seems drunk 24/7. I mean, I think he's had more drinks than Linda has in a day. Like, I'm sure that must be the case. You got some work to do, Linda. I'm only joking, sorry. But as for Kurt, I just can't take him serious. Just how it is. And as for the information that might come out of his mouth and then suddenly switch and change, you could say, well, do you take what Candice Cooley says serious? Not quite. Sometimes yes, because it feels a bit more official, just simply because she is the mother of Dylan Rounds. She's the one providing these updates. She has supposedly been the one that's been in contact with the police, the FBI, passing on information to her. She could still manipulate, twist, and turn bits of information and news how she sees it fit, how she views it, words it differently, misses out on certain context, and then gives it to the general public to read and assess like that. So she could still be manipulated and stuff, and we have seen her make several mistakes and people saying she lies. So I'm not completely dismissing that, but when it comes to Kurt Wadsworth, someone who isn't within the family but is kind of a close friend with Dylan, at first glance, upon hearing that, you'd probably take it somewhat serious and listen to what Kurt Wadsworth has to say, right? If Kurt is a friend, right? He might know things Candice Cooley doesn't know. Dylan might have shared things with Kurt at some point. Troubles, issues, whatever. But because Kurt is drunk here and there, and he keeps switching and changing, just like Candice Cooley, you don't know what's true and what's not. And that's the problem. If there was a level of consistency within his behaviour, then maybe you could listen to him, right? But that just does not seem to be the case. Now, you let me know down below in the chat. Is there anyone else within the case that has a level of consistency, whether it be information provided and / or one's own behaviour, personality? Is there a level of consistency, or are most people within the case, within the community, are so up and down and erratic that you can't take them serious, right? Leave your thoughts. I mean, some people here now can say they don't take me serious because of the whips or the random stuff like that, but if you want to get serious, we get serious. But then again, people then will start complaining, saying, oh, he's too scary, he looks too serious, because I have been criticised in the past in real life for looking and being too serious, but that's just how I've adapted. So you either have it one way or the other. Which way do you want it? You want it the soft or hard way? I mean, the easy or hard way? So, slipping up on those words, I wonder why. But yeah, I think we move on to the next point, right? Gay obsession. Now, that can apply in different ways. Some humans have a gay obsession with me, right? That's just, it's nothing new. Back when I was playing Battlefield 1 2016, a World War themed game, Indiana wasn't quite around for that World War 1, but close enough. Okay. When I was playing that game, the amount of times gamers, mainly males, right, it was obvious by their username and profile picture, they would run the length and depth of a field during a firefight, explosions going on, cavalry charges, and tanks blasting away. I'd be like near to my base, right? And an enemy would cross the boundary where it does the countdown and you end up dying for encroaching onto friendly land, whatever you want to call it. They would run all the way through all that danger just so they could ram their bayonet right in the back of me. Going all that length, knowing they're going to die, knowing they'll have to respawn, but just for that one kill, for that one piece of satisfaction, that's what they would do to me. A little bit gay, a little bit desperate, Do the hands tremble behind that controller? Yeah, come on, I just want to fucking shove that bayonet right up behind you. Come on, I want to feel those analog sticks and the buttons click. Fame is up. Do you have vibration turned on your PS5 controller? I mean, it works in a way. No, not works like that. I mean, like, you've got vibration turned on and you're shooting, you're firing, you're stabbing in-game, you feel that impact. When the controller vibrates, you know you've done something right, okay? So I guess it adds to a level of satisfaction, but maybe some people take it out of hand when they're using the controller, they feel it gets too much for them, right? So yeah, people chasing me down completely all the time. It's like, well, calm down, breathe, stop being so close to me. I need some space, right? So that's where that level of gay obsession came from. And as for in recent time within a case like this, but the Kenny Veach case, fake people, impersonations, and then shout out to that person that's been around for some time now. You heard of the user called We the People. I'm not singing the national anthem because I don't know how it goes. We the people. I am a prick. Are you now? Do you want my autograph? Because the amount of times you've gone on talking about me, it sounds like you do want one. Now, We the People, I hope you're not going to sell this autograph because I'll be very disappointed. Unless you want an autograph in another way. That sounds like what a serial killer would say. I wonder. Anyway, as for this behaviour, be on the lookout for them. It's just yet another person with an obsession, harassment and stuff like that. But more to do with what Doug was referring to in terms of this whole gay obsession. It wasn't directly worded by Doug in that way. I just elaborated, right? It's more to do just with like Jim Terry calling Dylan out being gay, right? Maybe some other people being gay. Supposedly Black Dove being gay. All the gay people coming together or something. And then Doug was saying either Jim Terry hates gay people or Jim Terry is gay himself, and they're all getting all together from some like little boys party or something. I don't know. I think it's one of those things where, Doug has a knife up against Jim and then Jim's firing back and it's back forth. Unnecessary stuff which I need to get involved in because it's got nothing to do with me. But as I said, this is a summary trying to mention points which are related to Dylan. Okay, and if you are joining right now or you're still a bit confused, the reason why I wanted to do a summary from Doug's point of view is because I've not done that yet, right? I've done it with Lance, done it with Ty, what they think of each other and what they're planning on doing in the case. May have briefly done it about the shack lady, briefly done it about salty pancakes in the past, briefly done it about Jim Terry, kind of, but not with Doug yet until now. And as well, the fact that Doug is in contact with Candice Cooley, you would think he's the guy that receives all the information, the corrections, misinformation cleared up, because he's done, the direct interviews with Candice Cooley more than any other channel, right? So Doug must be in Candice Cooley's favour. Candice Cooley prefers Doug over everyone else. So, you could slant it as you might be more inclined to listen to what Doug has to say about the case because he's receiving information from Candice. But, understandably, you might get more raised eyebrows from other people thinking, so is Doug the puppet and Candice Cooley is the one controlling Doug on what to say and what not to say? You get what I'm saying? It could go down that route. You might listen to someone, you might take notes down, but then it gets a bit more controlling, gets a bit more restrictive. You start mimicking behaviour from that actual person. You're the spokesperson for them. And then you start getting controlled by them. Maybe not this time, but it's been known to happen in other occasions, other areas of life. So no harm in just bringing that up. So just giving you Doug's point of view, his opinions and how he thinks within the case and about certain people. You can share your thoughts down below. What else was I talking about? Doug was referring back to Ty Corbin, also known as Todd Corbin or something, but he's got a different name. Referring once again to calling out Ty, calling him a meth head, when Ty Corbin previously has come out and said that's not true, it's all lies. So it's still, accusations and call outs and insults still ongoing. Doug talking about Ty having a hidden persona and a different name. I mean, How deep is this getting? Like, what's it coming down to at the end of the day? That's the thing. I was still calling Ty out on that GoPro, and I think Ty Corbin explained it himself, saying he was going to keep onto it just in case while searching out there. But, you know, there seems to be like a grudge with people, right? Whether it be an exchange of words or a certain action or not receiving something back from the past, it seems to have dragged on, and the GoPro is, I guess, a good example with Doug having some kind of grudge with Ty. I'm sure I heard it correctly that Doug said he was having a call or a video call with Ty but couldn't recognise him because he was in drag. What? Is that how it was worded? And I don't think Ty Corbin was in drag. Like, oh no, what is going on? You see what it goes into? I know some people will say you need to avoid this within the Dylan Rounds case, but it's one of those things where if it's so interwoven within the case, you can't miss it. You know, you can't avoid it. It's within the case itself, right? What's a good one? Like, if you wanted to hug a tree for whatever reason, and they say, oh, you got to leave the ivy out, it's got nothing to do with the tree. The ivy is the invader. It's unnecessary. But once it's wrapped around the stump of the tree, around the bark, it's encased now. So when you go hugging that tree, specifically for the tree, you're also involving yourself in introducing yourself to the ivy because it's interwoven, it's wrapped within it. Just like how people and YouTube channels are wrapped within the Dylan Rounds case in some way or another. You can't avoid it. That's why you talk about it, or why you try and sieve through it, push through it to reach the true stuff. I mean, whilst maybe certain information might be late or not looking at it directly, whilst I'm doing my own little theory videos and they are worded in that way so you're not being led on, at least it's away from all the back and forth stuff, right? And where some people could say, oh, it's attacking Dylan or it's attacking Lance or this, it's not, it's questioning. Questioning is different to attacking, right? Remember to look at the wording. Okay. What's this out? Yeah, this is where it came on to even more calling out, more direct. Doug started calling out Lance in the video, saying, you know, why are you going out there searching, and the donations for the dog, why? And then talking about how you're bringing other missing people that have been long gone for some time now and bringing them into your videos, like why? So they were going heavy on Lance as well. Who was it? I think it was Crime and Justice, the woman with Doug was saying in quotes, Justin wants no, or was it? No, it wasn't that. Where was that? Oh, it's a bit further down on the list, that's fine. Doug said in quotes, Justin wants nothing to do with you, Ty. Okay. I think that's in relation to the whole Ty and Lance reaching out to Justin in the past. And they said, we'll look for your son, and Justin was grateful. And supposedly, Doug knows that Justin doesn't approve of it anymore. Is that true? I don't know. Like, if Lance, if Ty are in the chat right now, or join later, are you in contact with Justin? Or when was the last time you were in contact with Justin Rounds? And was it positive, or was it negative? Was there any resistance, or what? I don't know personally. I mean, once again, this is a point where Doug doesn't approve of Lance Kelly for being out there, for actually searching for Dylan, and then the donation part. And that, I mean, it can be emulated by Candice Cooley's behaviour, Candice Cooley's mentality and mindset. If Candice Cooley doesn't like Lance, it's likely that Doug won't like Lance either. You know what I'm saying? And Lance and Ty were both in it together at the start, and Doug was quite happy passing on the GoPro to Ty, but that was just because back then Candice Cooley didn't hate Lance and Ty. If Candice Cooley hated Lance and Ty at the start, then Doug, who was in contact with Candice at the start, let's say, if that was the case, would probably be less likely to hand over the GoPro. So, is Doug being brainwashed by Candice Cooley? Is that a possibility? I'll do a poll right now. For Doug to possibly change in behaviour with time and to have a change of heart with certain people, is it mirrored? Almost like interactional synchrony between Doug and Candice. If you want to please Candice, then you will stand up for her. You will think like her. Minds think alike. If you want her to be on your side and in favour, then you got to do something which impresses her or which shows you support her, even when beforehand you may have not. Is that the case? Poll, do you think that Doug has been brainwashed by Candice? Yes, no, free will, whatever. Okay? Why not? People have said that Salty Pancakes is a fragile, vulnerable individual that can get easily led along, led astray, and controlled by other people. I don't know personally. I've not seen him as vulnerable or weak. Maybe, well, other people think differently. What's your thoughts on that? It seems like Salty Pancakes can operate himself and do his own thing. Like even just like way at the beginning of this whole case, right? When Pancakes stepped on in, really early on, right? And went down to Motel. Did he go with a crew of people? No. Did he meet up with the odd few people for the first time ever? Supposedly, yeah. People also said back then that Pancakes and Ty weren't even friends back then and they were already suspicious of each other or so. So, you know, Pancakes was operating somewhat okay back then, unless people are talking about when Pancakes started getting more involved with the likes of Kurt Wadsworth, and then there was a level of brainwashing. You see, certain people directly within the case may have an influence over outsiders that come on in, try and get you on side to think a certain way, and then you defend them at all cost, and then you might even retaliate back in a defensive way and show support. And then that alters behaviour of people. Is this some kind of much deeper psychological presence, an atmosphere going on in which people get dragged in like an abyss, a black hole, and then eventually they do come out, but kind of different? Is that a possibility, do you think? I mean, it's not directly associated with Dylan, but it is with the people involved in the case. There is a possibility, right? As for the Kenny Veach case, you just had idiots and knobheads, right? That's what it really was. And then the rest of the people, viewers, were okay and positive. But we're in the Dylan Rounds case, there seems to be more variety. Yeah? So, anything else? Doug was saying that Ty Corbin was basically feeding Jim Terry all the information, that supposedly Jim Terry didn't do all this private investigator techniques and research to be able to retrieve valuable info. It was just fed by Ty. Is that true? I don't know. That's what Doug said. That's all I'm relaying. Ty would have most likely passed on some information, like with the call-ins at least, right? Ty's within the area, Jim isn't. So if Ty was to pass on information, it just seemed like common sense, it's a normal thing, right? Ty Corbin back then wasn't too introduced to making videos on his own channel because he never did. He might do now, but he didn't back then. So you get someone else to cover it in a video. It's like within the Kenny Veach case, there've been certain people or like the odd Veach family member that reached out to me and said, oh, can you pass this information on? Can you spread this so everyone else can hear about it? Oh, do I suddenly appear as having all the information like that? Well, it's been assisted by other people, which is appreciated. One of the main reasons why it was passed on is because they themselves, either one, did not have the time to make videos in depth to explain the current situation, to clear a point up within the case, or they don't know how to do it because they're not familiar with technology, or they just don't know how YouTube works, right? So they get someone else to do it if they're regularly doing it, like me, as an example. So maybe that's the same with Jim Terry and Ty Corbin passing it on to Jim. If Ty trusts Jim more than other creators, then you'll share certain information and then hope that it's spread out there so everyone else knows about it. Just like in Candice Cooley's corner, how she has some kind of trust towards Doug. So Candice will pass stuff on to Doug or literally participate in an interview to also have a voice and a platform for herself, and then for Doug as well to be able to talk about information as well freely. So what you'll notice, you'll get certain groups you get certain groups of people, you'll get certain subgroups, you'll get cell groups, you'll get cells splitting off from one another, kind of like terrorists in a sense, where they split off, but they are in different contact with one another, spread out in location as well. So you'll see certain similarities there, okay? Anything else? Oh yeah, the next point, which was to do with some of the additional information and rumours in recent time, as we heard of the whole Dylan getting drunk in a car with a group of friends, including JD, and then getting pulled over by the police, either getting arrested or receiving some kind of ticket for drinking drunk, getting in trouble with the police, that whole talk. Doug responded to that in his video and basically said that, I think he was reading it off from like a computer screen or something, and just basically said he did receive a ticket, Dylan Rounds did, but it wasn't to do with being drunk, it was just to do with being in possession of alcohol, not being of the correct age, and that was all. So, wasn't drunk, wasn't this, wasn't that, so it wasn't that bad. But then I did hear previously Jim Terry mention that they were driving by, the friend JD threw a Pepsi can out the window, and then someone reported it as littering, and then the police got involved, and then I guess that might have led to the ticket of being in possession of the alcohol as well. Maybe that's how it follows, but basically it's just been worded as it wasn't that big of a deal, right? It wasn't, they weren't drunk, no real serious issues there. And to be honest, as for the whole littering part, some people could say, well, isn't that a little bit too excessive, or people being a bit too strict there? Well, when you look at the Motel crime report, and I did look at it at one point, it did say in 2021 there were 2 reports of littering in the area, and it was reported to the police. So there you go. But I do think it's kind of ironic, because if you think about it, you've got people in Montello dumping and hoarding trash, burying it in the desert, just leaving it here and there, near a mine shaft, near a hole, whatever. You've seen it documented in videos. Why don't they get done for littering? You drop a little Pepsi can out, litter, arrest, and then you get someone that just dumps a massive vehicle or something, or a load of tyres, and it's like, oh, that's fine. Unless it's because people don't complain with that material, because they know if they do find it, then they can salvage it themselves, benefit that way and make money. But with a Pepsi can, you can't, but you can still get just as an arrest someone if it annoys you in some way. Maybe that's it. But yeah, anything else? What was the other note? Crime and justice, as I was going to refer to earlier, the woman kind of like the, is it ponytail or something, with the kind of reddish hair, with the glasses. She basically said, why attack Dylan? And that's kind of like to do with the whole, I guess, Dylan being drunk, supposedly, Dylan receiving a ticket, Dylan being gay. Does it really matter? That's before Dylan went missing. Why attack him? I mean, it's a good question, in a sense. It's like, Dylan, basically is the victim, unless there's some kind of unknown stuff going on behind the scenes, possibly. That's the only other way of looking at it, right? Which then would make Dylan maybe a bad guy. But from what we've heard, Dylan is hardworking. He puts most of his time and focus into farming. He's passionate about it. He can be forgetful. He can be a little bit reckless when it comes to leaving food out. He's got a strict routine, I guess, with certain clothing and what he sticks with. That's really it. There's not much negative stuff to say. But then again, I can understand where some people are accused of attacking Dylan. What they might be trying to do is looking at the backstory behind Dylan, whether it be secrets, certain relationships, certain events, run-ins with the police, just to fill in the blanks before Dylan went missing, just to see if there was any grudges, if anyone was pissed off, any altercations, any misunderstandings that might have led on to Dylan then being hurt. So to some people, it could be seen as people going in at the deep end and attacking Dylan. But I think to others, it might just be questioning to see, what's happened beforehand and does it have any link to the end result. And that's kind of like what I've done. I mean, it just all comes down to wording and language. Jim Terry, because he talks fast and he's got a flow, he might not always think before he speaks. So then when he does word something a certain way, it might be interpreted wrong or in a negative way. Whereas if I was to say something, it might be considered more neutral because I used the correct wording. Now, at the end of the day, when it comes to finding a missing person, is there enough time to be thinking of how you carefully word and plan stuff? Not really. But, maybe for some people it's possible, but other people it's not. So you get the balance, right? And sometimes people with maybe like an attacking mentality, if it's being described as that, they might be able to, spearhead through, pierce into the truth and reveal something. Has that happened? I don't know, but it could at some point. If someone's quite hard-hitting, sharp, and not too soft, not too caring, they might be able to retrieve something which other people have not been able to, right? That's how I say it. And really the overall message and the main update, as someone questioned, what about it in the comment section, Doug basically said, in quotes, that Candice Cooley is coming for all of them, more in legal terms. Now, is it like a threat? It's just more like an announcement, right? Candice Cooley, at some point, I assume when Dylan is found, or when Brenna is sent down at least, and there's some kind of justice for Dylan, that's probably when Candice Cooley will go after different people, like maybe Pancakes, I guess maybe Jim Terry, and some others. I don't know who it is exactly. I don't know if Doug from No Thanks knows of my channel, or how he views my channel, whether it be a positive way or a negative way, whether it's different from all the other channels or it's misinterpreted as being similar to someone else. I don't know, because I've not seen him leave a comment or appear in the chat. So unless you in the chat have heard, how should I word it? Basically, if any of you have or do follow Doug from No Thanks, has he ever mentioned my name in any of his videos? Was it positive? Was it negative? Just worth asking, just get an idea of where things stand, that's all. I did have to reach out to him once, and I think he acknowledged it because he liked my comment when it came to fake accounts on his channel, right? You don't want a bad first-time impression when it's a misrepresentation of someone, so that's why I set the record straight with him, saying, fake accounts, be on the lookout. There you go. And that seemed to clear that up, so you don't end up accidentally getting dragged into this whole Candice Cooley wrath, As I said earlier on, right, a prediction I made was and I still, follow on with it, okay? That with time, there's a possibility that once the dust has settled and this whole case has finally been solved, then that's when Candice Cooley might start reacting differently, might release her emotions at some point, because then she's able to clear her mind, but then it's getting additional justice for other families, but also sorting it up with the police, getting justice there, but then maybe also content creators that may have caused possible slander or trespassing on the land and stuff like that. Now, once again, as for my channel, as for my wording, I've said Candice Cooley could appear as being dodgy or could appear as being suspicious, but I never, and same applies to everyone else, I've not said this person is 100% guilty. I don't use that level of language. At times I tend to use words of uncertainty, suggesting something but not directly going in, because you go all in and it goes wrong, then you've got to try and climb back out. And if you get too deep down the rabbit hole, as people like to word it, then it's like, where do you go from there? So we've already demonstrated that within the Kenny Reach case, right? So it's all down to language and how you word it. You've got to be careful. So I think we probably should move on to the Dylan Rounds page discussion forum. Okay, just read through one page, I think, because it is getting on a bit in time. Okay, just see what else has been said, talked about. If it follows on from the last discussion we had when we were on there, or if it mentions new material, there's no harm in checking. And then after that, we'll see where we are from there. Okay, let's head on over. Okay, so here we are back on the forum, page number 6. We'll just read through one this time so it's not as long and dragged out, understandably. So it's just following on from the last one. Regina responded to a previous comment made about the whole live duty run video. Regina said, "It rubbed me the wrong way, to put it mildly. That duty run couldn't praise Dylan's mother without bad-mouthing another mother of missing child. Seriously, never heard of / from the man before watching that video, nor do I have any interest to do so again." Okay, so that is interesting. Considering how people have spoke about Duty Ron, being positive towards him, as well as Candice Cooley being interviewed by him. Interesting. Let's just check that response out, what Grandma Bear said. What was that? Equisearch Rep says, being crazy case. Apparently LE called her during the live Duty Run video. I gather they're going to be helping. I remember that now. Yeah, what we looked at. But for Regina said, Duty Run couldn't praise Dylan's mother without bad-mouthing another mother of a missing child. Is that true? Is that what Duty Ron is like? Is he a bit dodgy? Or did Regina misunderstand him? Never heard of that before. Not really heard anything bad being spoken about Duty Ron until this point. What does this person say? Kimster says, "I've never watched him that I remember. That doesn't sound good." Regina says, "From time to time, I tune in to Gray Hughes. I really like his approach, and his primary focus seems to be pinpointing locations, which is the first thing I look at in any case. Anyway, he's come through again with this case, and so I've learned that Dylan's farm is essentially east/southeast of the property where his grain truck boots were found. Okay. For orientation's sake, the boots were west of that building where the grain truck was parked, and according to the father, the last phone ping radius covers the area of that same property. By the way, I have a question. How is it that the phone hadn't pinged between the grandma call and that last ping? Also, I'm a bit confused as to why he'd call the grandmother if it had already started raining. Well, it didn't. It was going to rain later on in the day. Has anyone else heard of Gray Hughes? Who's Gray Hughes? Is he on YouTube? Is that a channel? I've not seen his channel pop up before covering the case, unless that was in early on in June. Maybe. What's this? Well, with that, he's revealed enough of himself to me. That's all. So Regina does not think too good of Duty Ron. Guess who responded back to a previous comment saying, that's what I'm thinking, a heavy duty 1 ton or larger for hauling and a regular half ton or 3/4 ton for everyday driving. Grandma Bear replied back to Regina about Duty Ron saying, I don't watch him much. I find his shows a bit dry, and whilst I applaud, he mostly stays away from speculation and gossip, and sometimes he just doesn't have much to talk about, either because of just sticking to news and press conferences, etc., or he sticks to getting professionals on to talk genuinely of autopsies, profiling, etc. I hadn't watched him in a while, but Dylan's mom was on it, and so I did. He does get some guest that I suppose trust him because he is a former LE and he also backs Texas Equisearch and now has a close relationship with them, etc. I've still got some minutes left of it. I heard the remark about how missing parents are supposed to act like Dylan's mom and not like some others act, but did they actually name another mother? I didn't catch that. If so, or if it comes in part, I haven't seen it yet. He has a fair-sized following, and I'm not all for him or against him. Just kind of, well, I'll watch when the show interests me or the guest. And that's about it. I think she, who knows must not be named, only posted his video as that is where Dylan's mum could be heard and who she talked to. That's why I took the time to watch this one, going to try and finish it in the morning. Now, the question what I put forward is the whole Candice Cooley appearing on these different shows. Who's at the top of the hierarchy? I assume it's Doug, followed by Mob Crew Chris, followed by Duty Ron, followed by Zav Girl, and maybe some others. I assume that's the order, because Candice Cooley has done more interviews with Doug from No Thanks, done the odd one with Chris, but also Chris came along to participate in that big push search with Candice, so they're on the side in a good understanding with each other. But as for Zav Girl, as for Tyler Feller, as for the Shack Lady, would they be able to have an interview with Candice Cooley? Or the likes of Zav Girl, at least, would Candice Cooley have another interview with Zav Girl? Or is it because Zav Girl is covering other cases and moved on? Is that why there's not been any more attempts to spread the word? Maybe. You know, you can see it filtering out, right? Early on, Candice Cooley was on this channel, then that channel, and then that one. Same with Jim Terry. As Jim Terry said, he was all over the place. He was watching all the videos, appearing as a guest on all the panels, and eventually with time, just doesn't do it no more. He does his own thing. So you see that transition, the changes, reducement in overall activity status level, I guess. We'll carry on. Guess who says? And it's also relative to others, near on their definition of large. It looks like probably 90% of their country is on the eastern edge. Dylan is on the very western edge, and it's definitely rural out there. Yep. Grandma Bear replies back to Regina saying, now I can go either way on him. He's definitely an acquired taste, and he often jumps on his viewers sometimes, not even understanding their comments first. He's definitely one of a kind. All that said, though, I recognise he puts a lot of work in, does a professional job, and I also appreciate his mapping and tech skills in cases. I don't watch him much, but just like Duty Ron, if a show subject shows up in interest, I'll watch. Now, I've not covered Duty Ron. Pancake said Duty Ron is very strict when it comes to using his content. He'll instantly copyright strike you and everything. Now, if I had to do a quick observation of Duty Ron, He's a serious individual because of his line of work, his background in the past, right? He's serious, might be quite strict, but he tries to follow through with normal procedure and try and act formal. And I guess if you get on the wrong side of him, he'll come after you in some way or another. So at the end of the day, even if it is associated with the Dylan Rounds case, it's best just staying away, best not covering him, best not dedicating a video or anything like that, or even material, because it could end badly through misunderstanding and lack of reasoning ability in an egocentric style of way. You get me? So, let's move on. Grandma Bear says, realising there were 2 trucks cleared some things up for me that didn't make much sense before. One thing I'll say Duty Ron does is pull together key pictures or videos in his shows. In one picture, in news coverage he shared, there was a big truck with a chute in back that I felt was the grain truck with a grain chute, although no way to know if it was Dylan's or if it was one for a fact, far bigger than a pickup truck. She said, when they first went to find him, their thought was not foul play, but that he injured himself walking home, or was bitten by a snake, or something happened on that 5-mile walk. Yeah, probably as things are found out, or they discover things, talk, people, etc., it changes. Grandma also said, she made it sound as if Ellie just lets that edge corner area go and practices no law enforcement out there. She gave examples of clearly stolen vehicles and things sitting out there, etc. She also said the gym guy had a warrant, Jim Brenner, and Ellie talked to him, etc. in this case, but never arrested him until how long after they finally came out and acted on an existing warrant. Because that's the 2021 one. Then I guess they let the guy out and never told the family he was out. Etc. It was the day after. That was like the 10th or the 11th of June. 10th or 11th of June, arrested by police and released the next day. Okay? Etc. She has a lot of criticism of the county Ellie. I get her points, but some of what she is pointing out would be typical, probably most places, but then other things she has shared are inexcusable by Ellie, I'd agree, but probably not all that unusual. The sheriff's wife talking for him, though, and to her, now that is really not wise in my opinion, nor common. That's referring back to that photo in Lucin on the Facebook page of the Sheriff Potter. Is that the correct name this time? Sheriff Potter and his wife. Not normal. Grandma said, Texas Equisearch is getting right on it and sending multiple drones, pilot already on board and more. First thing Twyla from Texas Equisearch wants to do is run images through locate program/app. Everything that's said there, I guess, was done and applied a couple of months ago. So from June 15th, nothing happened, all the way up to just before December, sometime in November. That's when they really acted. So, Candice Cooley, what was going on in all that previous time? Supposedly, waiting for the green thumbs up from the LE who dragged things out and were being awkward for many months, supposedly speaking. But timelines don't seem to agree with Candice Cooley, and that it could have been done earlier. Grandma continues to say, Dylan's mom mentioned the sheer number of mines and caves out there, and also said the mines are almost bottomless. Some of them, they run so deep. Well, if they run deep and deep and deep, I assume you try and find the deepest one out there and investigate, because if a local responsible for disposing of Dylan knows of the deepest mines, that's likely where they would go to dispose of Dylan, right? Most likely a mine shaft. A mine shaft that's very deep is more practical than a very deep horizontal mine. horizontal mine, reaching the end of it could go on forever. But with a mine shaft, you just chuck the person in, and the person free falls all the way down to the bottom, right? And then maybe with time, if you got loose objects inside of the shaft or on the outside, animals end up falling in, it'll just cause more obstruction with time and cover Dylan up naturally, in a sense, right? Carry on. I think we already knew this, but I will add it here. For the thread again, Dylan's pond was drained and searched, right? Regina says, oh yes, I took it that she shared it for the same reason we found it, worthy of her time. Oh yeah, that's response to the Duty Ron link. Indeed, yes, Dylan's personal truck was at his farm, while the grain truck is a 10-wheeler found parked at a property 5 miles away from his farm. By the way, I wonder about the condition of the grain. I mean, whether it's okay to plant or ruined. Hold on. Dylan's personal truck was at his farm, yes, whilst the grain truck parked at a property 5 miles away from his farm. Well, yeah, that's how it was found eventually. But originally for Dylan to get to the grain shed, the grain truck would have had to been at his farm to begin with. Carry on. Grandma says, so everyone probably knows these things, but I'm just going to put them here as I finish the video and for the thread. Dylan's phone is under his dad's Verizon account, and Verizon will not give them the text transcripts without a subpoena. What is this world coming to? Why should Verizon have to worry about anything if they provide these to the actual account holder? Okay. So I've personally not seen this myself. Okay. Dylan's phone is under his dad's Verizon account. Did any of you know that? And the text transcripts will not be given without a subpoena. What does that mean? Was it ever resolved that? I don't know. I know they got Dylan's phone pings, in fact they were able to duplicate his account elsewhere. But did they ever get the text transcripts or not? I don't know. Do any of you know? Grandma Bear says, somewhere in some news here I saw it or read it that the grain truck was covered and okay and protected, or so it sounded. I'm sure they did, but have to wonder if they checked the load of grain in looking for Dylan. Well, yeah, they said they looked for it. If they checked the pile of dirt his boots were found there, seems a bit too obvious. Supposedly that's been searched as well, but there's switching and changing there. Grandma also said, so now, a Kurt, who I gather owns the Saddle Saw Bar, told the family Dylan was abducted and was being held. The same Kurt owned the backhoe that was out there. She also said Kurt worked for Dylan sometimes. So he is a bar owner that sometimes works for this young farmer. Not clear on all that, but it would show he knows the bar owner, I guess, fairly well, or at least had interactions with him, not only at the bar, but his equipment was at the farm or at Dylan's. Good, good. This is good. What we're now going on to, as you can see, is around this point, June 15th, as people are learning about the case and learning about suspects and learning about people in general who are associated with Dylan in some way. Here you can see raw language being exhumed in a way. These people didn't know who Kurt Wadsworth was back then. Wadsworth's name, his last name, isn't even mentioned in this text, but most likely it will be on the next few pages as it is categorized in dates. So, although we can check the next few pages out another day, we might start seeing it unfolded. So instead of having to look through a 5-6 hour video, people here might be sharing their own thoughts and extracts and summaries to what they've witnessed when watching these long videos. So we might actually have a time-efficient way of learning about this case, the backstory, and Kurt Wadsworth without having to spend hours upon hours. So that's a positive, okay? As you saw, the bit where it says about Dylan being abducted, well, we know that now about the whole receiving it from a psychic reader, blaming it on Avalez and Chase Venstra to put the blame on them, to get rid of them because they don't like those people, and possibly for Kurt to get that $20,000 reward money as an opportunistic form of behaviour, right? That's the real backstory of it, but this person didn't know at the time. It also mentions about the backhoe. Kurt owned the backhoe out there, okay? Something you would have heard here and there by some people in the chat, but not often, right? If he owns the backhoe, is that a possible location where Dylan could have been disposed of or buried? Yes, no. Has it been searched? Yes, no. Does it need re-investigating? Yes, no. Let me know what you think, right? We do also need to check out some kind of property to do with another individual at some point. I will eventually get around to doing that, maybe in the next video or so. I just double checked to see if it was of public information, and it seems to be, so it's not going to cause any issues there, right? Because as we know within the case and how people have behaved with passing on information or secretly recording a phone call without consent and then releasing it public, things can get very messy, right? So it's always just double checking, right? Even the same with the Kenny Veach case, just double checking, asking, is it okay? Can I use this? Can I use that? Are you sure? I mean, some people would keep saying, no, you don't have to credit me. No, it's fine. Don't be silly. It's okay. But I just do it regardless, automatically credit people. I double check as well, just in case they want crediting or if they want to be kept anonymous, let's say. Because if you do it that often, like how I did in the Kenny Veach case, it just becomes normal, right? To prevent any issues, anything from crawling back, creeping up on you, okay? Anything else? Bar owner, yeah, I will carry on reading. What's this? Guess who replied back to a previous point saying, just looking at a map, I would have to agree that this is probably exactly what happens out there, especially with the high gas prices. Nearly everybody in that county are on the eastern edge, and when I say edge, I mean nearly any city of any size there are on the very edge. Most carriers will not do that without a warrant for it. Can you imagine the request they would have by everybody if they didn't? All the people wanting to just be plain nosy, that would be a never-ending thing, using so many resources. Holding him for what exactly? These people don't seem to have much for a ransom or anything. Is he just blathering on just to say something or what? This dude is bothering me. So this guess who is already being irritated by Kurt Wadsworth. And that's early on. So if people's first time impressions of Kurt is, oh, this dude is bothering me, oh, he's getting annoying, and that's immediate, then just imagine what people would be thinking much later on after hearing all the other news and switching and changing of info, right? First time impressions are quite important when it comes to stuff. Grandma Bear goes on to say, this Kurt story kept changing. There we go. It was all false. The abduction or place he claimed Dylan was being held, and it was him who gave conflicting stories of whether Dylan was in Montello on the 26th or the 27th, and she said they can't confirm yet which is true. She has no idea why he would do all this or lie to them. It sounds like Elko, in brackets, SP, question mark. Right, is this person using the abbreviation of SP for salty pancakes? Or does Grandma Bear mean something else? Because, you know, was this person even aware of pancakes back then? I'm not sure. Also says Ellie, box elder. Ellie said two different things. Also, it sounds like this Kurt is why we have conflicting news reports of days in Montello and other things. I gather his stories change and he can't keep them straight. And that said, June the 15th. Back in June. Interesting. That is actually. So first time impressions from people coming across Kurt for the first time, we're witnessing it retrospectively. People have a negative outlook on Kurt from the beginning. People identify that Kurt's constantly changing his stories and information. Something that has been mirrored and echoed ever since, even in recent time now. You get me? So it's interesting to see how certain attitudes and opinions have not changed with certain individuals. A level of consistency, you could say. Something that has been lacking within the case. Oh, there we go. We've reached the end of the page. So, we'll definitely be on the lookout for next time because we're starting to see how things unfold and what people think of within the case. You know, Candice Cooley has shared her timeline of events and her thoughts and her introspection, thinking, explaining, talking about how she was thinking, how she was feeling at every second and what was going on, and how she acted and responded. Now, what we're looking at is introspection, retrospectively, from the viewers, the outsiders that have followed the case toward from the beginning, leading on to more recent time, okay? So we'll see what else is talked about next time round if you're ready to listen in. Okay, so it's got to that time again where things have got a little bit cold, all right? So we're just taking a brief little break time. Very shortly in this live video premiere, we will return to the Idaho Oakley, where supposedly Don Haley is staying at, right? So I want to check out a few key locations because I did miss one of the themes, which was motels, hotels within the area, RV parks. No harm, check a look, see the photos, see if anyone notices anything or knows of a place where Don is at, okay? No harm in generating ideas, okay? One thing that I've just got to do briefly right now is tend to the bears. The bears are needing some attention, right? Come here, bears. Come here, bears. Yes, you. Yes, you, the miniature bear. And even this bear, which seems to be wearing some kind of jacket. Oh, wow. Look at that. It sounds like a rainbow jacket. Don't let Jim Terry hear of it. He'll probably be calling this bear having some kind of gay relationship with someone. Okay, calm down, stop crying. So this is the thing. Cleo did say she set up a schedule, and I'm thinking, I wonder what that schedule is. Then I see the list, and then it's like, oh, the schedule is daycare for her teddy bears. Daycare teddy bears, right? So I've got to look after her Care Bears, and if I do not, then she probably won't be too happy. So I better make sure none of them cry. You know, we do not want that, right? So you got this bear, obviously. You go into the emoji section right now on the live chat, and I'm sure there's an emoji that almost looks like him. What are you doing? You're trying to reach out to the chat? You want to hug the chat? Be careful. You got some wild individuals out there, bear. You know, you got Wes who's growling. You got Gorilla Jack here and there. You know, make sure you don't get crushed, okay? He's got a little mouth, and it's blue as well. Do you want a drink? You want a drink? Okay, okay. If you wonder what the texture is like of him, he's very squishy, okay? He feels like a marshmallow, okay? You seen his belly? Yeah, a bit thick. Not thick, bit fat. There you go. You want some water? Yeah. Come on. Come on. There you go. There you go. Made a little hole in the bottle so you can take sips of it. Are you happy now? You hydrated? Okay, so I don't want to drown you or bless you with water. There you go. So he is basically happy now. There you go. You just sit back there. Is there anyone else? Okay. We got this guy, an Ewok. What's the Ewok doing? I don't know, but he's very, very small. Just lift your hood up slightly. Oh my god. No way. He's possessed. What's wrong with him? When you look deep into his eyes, his soul, what does it say? He's looking at you. He wants to give you a message. He wants you to look deep into his eyes and think of the deepest secret you can think of. And you can reveal it to this little bear. He holds all kinds of secrets. Look deep into his eyes. Focus. Breathe really slow. You will do anything this bear orders you to do. Yeah. Boop. You got a little bit too close then, didn't you? Do you want feeding? You want this chocolate from the calendar? You want the bueno? Bueno? Senora? Senor? Said the wrong name. Pardon me. There you go. Don't choke on it. Just eat a little bit. Yeah. Good. Good, good, good. Put your hood down because it's getting cold, isn't it? Yeah? What's that? Oh, you need your belly rubbing. Oh, no. You got stomach ache. There you are. These bears are very high maintenance. You want to wave to the camera as well? Oh, he's got a little paw as well. Look at his little paw. The bear wants to touch your face. There you go. His soft hands, his soft paws, no claws, just smooth. And last but not least, the guy in the magic raincoat. Who's this individual? I don't know, but he's very flat. Has he been run over? Is it roadkill? I don't know. But he's somewhat dressed formal. He looks a bit possessed again, but he seems happy. There you go. What do you need? Oh, you need patting on the back. There you go. Is that relieving your stress, your pain? Patting you on the back. What's that? Oh, done. So I think all in all, the bears have been looked after. So looks like I won't be getting in any trouble. So I think it's time we return back to the maps and we return back to where Don Haley is staying at. So let's begin going a bit deeper. Idaho, Oakley. Forgot to type it in before. Oops. There we go. We'll type motel. Highly unlikely for hotels to be present. Motels more likely. Motel 6. Oh, here we go. But how far away? Twin Falls. Disappointing. So you can see already that they're not exactly within the exact area. Though, what we need to do is specifically go to Oakley first of all and forget about the key names of places, right? Look, it's down here. And I don't think we'll look at the Twin Falls or the motels there because I believe we have already done that previously when we looked at Snake River and other areas in that place. But there is at least one, I believe, here, if I'm correct in saying. At least one. There we go. Move away. Oakley, it's called the Height Home Bed and Breakfast. That's good, isn't it? And also low down here, near Almo, you got Almo Inn. You got Marsh Creek Inn. We've not looked at them. East Park Motel, Budget Motel, and Oregon Trail Inn Motel. So we've got a couple of them. I'm thinking for the length of this video, we'll take a look at least one of them. If it's really boring, we'll look at one last one. And then for the remainders over here, I think we can do that in a separate video, don't you think? So, let's check out this one down here. What do the photos look like? Damn. So this is in Oakley. Does this look like a place where Don Haley would go to or stop the night at? Definitely not. When looking at it, it looks too formal. But at the same time, it kind of looks like a haunted house due to the shape of it. Kind of looks a little spooky. I wonder what it looks like inside them. And how many visitors does it receive? Okay. So there's the bed. The sheets, somewhat neat, fairly clean. We've got the typical chair parked in the corner, facing the end of the bed, like usual, within reaching distance. So if someone like Indiana was settling in that bed, someone like Wes could be sat at the wooden chair and reach on over to Indiana and grab her. I don't know why, but it's set up like that in this room. Check the next one out. Oh my God. Are we going back in time? This definitely looks like on one of those paranormal American channels as they're walking around the house looking for items. Fuck me, where's Zach Bagans at? Zach, come down here. Zach, come into the room. Zach, we're having an attack. Paranormal EVP recording, man. Zach, come on. Where are you? Where's Nick Graff? Oh, he's gone. God damn it. He's gone his own way. What a shame. I do remember a time during Ghost Adventures when Zach was running down a hallway and in the dark tripped over a chair and started doing, It was so funny that, tripping over that bloody wooden chair. He got all scared as well because he wondered what it was. What a riot. Okay, oh my God, this does look very formal. Very posh. Look at that carpet. Look at the chandelier. Wow. And we've got a posh bath as well. Tiled shiny floor. Marble finish. And then got a shower as well. But I think only one person can fit in at a time, right? You can't have a 2-on-1 situation or a 1-on-1. Only one person. What a shame. Oh no. No, they're running out of toilet roll. No! You're going to be starting using your hand. My God. Let's hope you don't have to do any meetings or shake hands afterwards because that could get very sticky. That is problematic. Oh my. We got a lot of wood here. Some hard wood. There's such a pause then in words when I was talking. It was a bit weird. Got some pink little pillows. With tassels on. Why would you want tassels on your pillows? Don't you think if you're laying on them with your head would press against them and it'd be uncomfortable? I think it would. You need to rotate them the other way. Turn them around the other way. No dodgy reflections here. Everything checks in order. My God, this definitely looks like a scene from a haunted film where either there's a figure, a dark figure, lurking downstairs, or maybe on the landing, looking down, peering at you. Or someone sat in that little rocking chair at the back. Very spooky. Definitely would not want to be there right now. No way. Oh my God. More old furniture. What's this? Bed and breakfast. So it seems to be in use, but... Oh, look at the dark woodland trail. Little Red Riding Hood territory. Who's the big bad wolf? Maria? No. I apologise, Maria. Sorry, Maria. I keep referencing you. Poor Maria. Maria is truly an innocent, pure soul, aren't you, Maria? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Let's move on. My God, what's this? A little bench, I guess. And some, I don't know, flower bed. Yeah, okay. Yeah, some deck chairs. Bit misty. Candy charm. No more eggs? No. Where's all the eggs have gone? My God, what a disaster. You're missing toilet paper, you're missing eggs. That's not looking good. Dodgy woodland trek. Is Bigfoot present? Hiding behind any of the trees? Doesn't look like it this time round. Nope. When was this photo taken? 2017. Kind of does look a bit blurry. Right, so I said it was not the best image quality, and not a likely place where Don would be at, nor most people, because it didn't seem that dodgy. Though, what we need to double check on is the RV park, as that's maybe more likely of a place where Don could go. If he's got an RV trailer, some kind of community within the area. There we go. Oakley City RV Park. Locked on in. And I think the first image is of some toilets. Brilliant. That's very fitting considering the other place didn't even have any toilet roll. So this place might actually have key resources. There we go. Let me in. Oh, that's the wrong one. Wait, which one's which? They look the same. It doesn't say which gender. Oh no, that's going to go downhill, isn't it? Sorry, why are you at the urinals? Urinal? Oh my God, I didn't think you had that on you. Pretty impressive. Oh wait. Oh no, I think I'm in the wrong place. Sorry. I better go into the other room. There we go. I'm more at home now. Hey girls, sorry, I was misdirected. I came across things I weren't supposed to see. I'm so sorry. Too many snakes present. But no, it's fine now. It's okay. Oh my God, Indiana, turning up there as well. Wow. How are you doing? Who knows? Who knows what goes on? I wouldn't. Oh my God. Why have we appeared at this place? Why take pictures of toilets? Does that really matter? I mean, who cares? Toilets, wow. Oh my God. No way. Not the rodeo. We got the rodeo riding sessions once again. How hard, how deep, how rough can you ride that horse? Are you willing to go all night long? Are you willing to break your back up the mountain top to reach severe points of higher senses and pure excitement riding that horse? Better than anyone could ever do ever before? Are you willing to take that risk? Are you willing to cripple yourself? I don't think you are, man. We zoom on here. My God, the horse has just given up. The horse has given up. And this guy Wild Joseph, or it could be Wes, not quite sure, can't quite confirm from this distance, is handling... Is that a dog? Wait, oh no, we've got an invader, a dog trying to infiltrate a horse. My God, control it, man. It's untamable, wild. Pure action going on now. This is amazing. Oh my God, there's some big horses. Damn. Oh my God. Oh my God. Have they shaved? I don't know, it looked like they shaved or something. Oh my God, he does not look happy in the middle. He's looking directly at that camera with a death stare. Yeah, interesting. Hopefully there's no dodgy people in the chat getting too excited right now. Hopefully not. Oh my God, look at the horse's hair. That's a lot of hair. Wow. I wonder, does anyone need to borrow the hair? Maybe. I mean, Joseph said he doesn't have any hair, so maybe this hair can keep your head warm if winter ever comes about for you. Just a thought, suggestion. I mean, is Brenner's horse here or ever here? What's the date? 2019? Maybe, possibility. I'll have to check. What's this one? I mean, so far we've seen toilets, horses, rodeo session, but no RV trailers. Come on, give me what I want. I do not want the fucking toilet now. There we go. Didn't ask for much. My God, it's a ram! Ram ranch! Eagle. Got a barbecue, mate. It's just what we need. That's looking okay. But what about the others? Where are the others? Are they designated slots? My God, there's 0 trailers. Fucking hell, more people are more excited with the horses than the trailers in the RV park. What's that horse doing with its arse? My God, stop showing your arse to the camera. Only horse is a couple of miles away. Sign up to that with your webcam service. Like, not here. It's not welcome. Nay. There you go. So you got a couple. One down there. Couple over that way, behind the trees. And then one parked up here. So it doesn't seem like a busy place. Quiet. Maybe Don might have stayed here. I don't know. I don't know if he's into networking or communicating with others, or he just keeps to himself. Now with this image, we've got another close-up of a trailer, as you see here. Quite a big one, the size of it. I assume that's where the bedroom's at. Slightly raised up there, near the big window. Yeah, not bad. And I've also got 2 quad bikes as well with baskets on, so that could be for exploring around the area, around the desert terrain. Makes sense. You look at the wheels, they look a little bit dusty looking. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. There we go. Camper van. What's it called? Holiday Rambler. Now, is that being charged up? Or is that like the electrics of it or something? Charging station? It's not electric, is it? The whole thing? 2020? No. There's a few more people over there, you can see, parked up. Still fairly quiet. I mean, it could be a small place. Maybe not. Think again. What the hell? That's where they're all at. They're all over there. All parked up. You see the crowd? Many people that want to see someone ride a horse. Fast. Oh, for fuck's sake, stop showing the toilets. Who cares about the toilets? Which toilet is this for? I don't know. City of Oakley RV Park. I cannot read it. Once again, a few more. Okay, little stone. No horses. No horses? Are you fucking kidding me? After showing me countless photos of horse arses, photos of horses shoving their bottoms in the camera, and now you have the cheek. Oh, sorry, wrong choice of words, to say no horses are welcome. Excuse me? Oh my god. Speaking of horses, look what shows up in the next fucking frame. Horses. Showing their bottoms once again. I do not want to see that. Anyone in the chat, do you wish to view these photos? Well, if you do, go to Oakley, Idaho, as there is an RV park near you with many wild horses. Can you survive a night there? Let me know. Okay, so I think that summarizes this video. Taking a look at the summary of what Doug has to say recently, his point of view towards mainly Jim Terry and all the rumours, okay? As well as taking a look at the psychological presence of certain individuals of how it might have impacted people and behaviour with time. I think that is a genuine thing. As well as that forum, what we noticed where it started talking about Kurt Wadsworth and even Duty Ron in a negative way, calling out people. And then just clearing it up with Idaho, Oakley, okay? As said, there's other little spots further afar can be taken a look at in an independent, separate video if you want dodgy time. I'm sure you do. So I think we will leave it there for now. Thanks for watching. I'll cover the next video when I can. Might be a shorter one because some of the bits of material are kind of loose, unless I bulk it up with another discussion forum. Maybe I can do that. We'll just see. I know people prefer the longer videos, so maybe I'll try, but ultimately if a video is quite short, I'm not going to force it to be long because then it won't be natural, right? So good night for now, sleep tight, and I'll see you next time. Good night, goodbye.